Having previously done a few long distance walks, I thought I'd give the Affric Kintail Way a go. Significantly shorter than walks like the West Highland Way, however it's a walk that's challenging in different ways. In this video I'll take you through my 4-day journey of the Affric Kintail Way, going from Drumnadrochit to Morvick. Before starting the walk, I drove up to Kintail to drop my car off. I then got the 9:17 CityLink service from Alltbeithe to Drumnadrochit. You can catch the bus just outside the pit stop at Kintail Cafe Restaurant. Serves some great food, by the way. Here's hoping the weather's slightly better in Drumnadrochit. I got into Drumnadrochit just before 12 to start my journey. Day 1 consisted of a 16-mile walk from Drumnadrochit to Cannich. Having done other long distance walks like the West Highland Way, I'd say the views in the first day were okay, though nothing particularly spectacular in comparison. Walking through large areas of chalk down forest wasn't particularly inspiring, however the first day was more about getting a decent amount of miles under my belt. Besides, I've been told that the walk gets better as it goes on. I finally arrived at Cannich just before 6. I booked accommodation at the Cannich Caravan and Camping Park. The facilities at the campsite are excellent, and they have a great wee on-site cafe restaurant that I would definitely recommend. After an amazing breakfast from the on-site cafe, I made my way off Cannich. As well as having a great campsite, Cannich also has a very handy spa shop. Though as I headed out of Cannich, I knew there was no more convenience stores, cafes or hotels for the rest of the trail. The next part of the journey was going to be a true test of my organising skills. I hope I've not forgotten anything. Today's destination was Glen Affric, a shorter walk at a distance of 12 miles. It wasn't long before I got to Dog Falls car park, where I stopped off for some lunch. It wasn't long before I set off again. After crossing the bridge, I was almost at the halfway point of today's walk. In this part of the walk, you follow a high path that runs along the side of the loch. The views so far today were already significantly better than the first day. Much of the views along this part of the trail are obscured by the trees, however there are a few points along the way that you can see the loch. It was amazing to see large areas of forest and landscape that had largely been untouched. I imagine a lot of Scotland looked like this many years ago. After the lengthy stretch along the loch side, I just about reached my final destination of the day. One of the challenges with the Affric Kintail Way is accommodation. First day you have the Cannich campsite, whereas day 2, unless you've arranged for transport from the Glen Affric car park, you're pretty much limited to wild camping. Factoring in camping gear, cooking equipment, food, water and everything else that you need to bring can lead to a heavy rucksack. I would definitely recommend doing a trial run. I'm glad I did. I set up camp not far from the Glen Affric car park. Camping in the car park isn't allowed. Unfortunately not everyone can leave no trace. I did use the benches for some cooking though. They have barbecue plate fixtures on the picnic tables. Very handy. It was a rather wet start to day 3. I cooked my breakfast with the aid of a small umbrella. The rain did keep the midges away though. After breakfast, I packed up my tent and headed back along the trail. Today was the shortest day of the trail at just under 9 miles. This meant I could really take my time and enjoy the views. stopped off briefly at the little hut at the end of the loch for some shelter and some lunch. Cheese and tomato sandwich has never tasted so good. I would say today had the best views of the trip so far. Destination today was Alltbeithe Youth Hostel. I was looking forward to checking out one of the most remote hostels in the UK. The weather had been fairly mixed today with a few heavy showers and wind, so I was glad not to be staying in a tent. Start to see the youth hostel in the distance. It was a welcome sight as the clouds were starting to come in. I'd reached my final destination of the day, Alltbeithe Youth Hostel. The hostel can be reached by foot or bike via 10 or 13 kilometre routes, or 55 from Drumnadrochit. The hostel is bigger than it first looks. It can sleep up to 24 people at full capacity. There's a large kitchen with an adjoining dining/living room, as well as a shower and 2 toilets. There's no Wi-Fi or phone signal, though I think that just adds to the overall experience. The electricity is powered by a large turbine. Also has a wood burning stove, making it a really cosy building. This could be my favourite hostel so far. Day 4. After finishing some terrible instant porridge, I got my things together and got on my way. Today's journey would take me from Alltbeithe to Kintail for my final day. Early on in the walk, I stopped off briefly at Alltbeithe. The bothy is a popular stop on the Affric Kintail Way. As with most bothies, the accommodation is fairly basic, but they are a great asset in remote locations, especially in bad weather. It also has one of the most scenic locations for an outdoor toilet. After my brief stop at the bothy, I carried on my way. The weather wasn't particularly great, but the surroundings were absolutely stunning, so despite the weather, it was a beautiful day. If I had to pick a favourite day on the trail, I'd say it'd be the final day. Just no mean feat, as day 3 was pretty stunning. Almost completed the journey, I thought back on a few things about the trail. Would I do the Affric Kintail Way again? Very probably, though I would likely make a few changes. Getting an early start on the first day would be one of the changes. First day felt quite long. Getting into the campsite early would have been nice. First day also felt a little bit rushed, as having to make sure I got to Cannich to get food before the shop and the cafe closed. On day 2, I think the wild camping location, I would probably look to continue a bit further on, maybe stop near the boathouse. Cooking equipment, I used a Trangia burner. Found it used quite a bit of fuel, though perhaps that's my poor technique, but I'll probably switch to gas next time. The tent I brought did the job. A bit more room would be nice, though I wouldn't want anything that was going to weigh more. I think overall I probably brought the right amount of stuff. Going through my pack previously and finding lighter alternatives definitely helped. Having a water filter was very beneficial as well, as after Cannich there's not many places to fill up. It also saves you from bringing a ton of water. I took a number of camping meals, ended up opting for a few of the lighter pasta packs, as the weight does tend to add up. Back on the trail, I was on the final stretch. After crossing the bridge, the path just follows the river into Morvick, where I would end my trip. It had been a great 4 days.
I was only a cup of water, maybe a vase at best. I might give you color for a month or two, then leave an empty feeling in your chest. Darling, flowers were made for the garden. I'm not quite everything you need, I beg your pardon. Nothing more than just a handful of soil.
I finally reached Morvick where the trail ends, though my final stop was pizza and beer at Pit Stop Kintail Cafe Restaurant. It'd been a great 4 days.
Darling, flowers were made for the garden. I'm not quite everything you need, I beg